This is Wellness Buds, and I'm your host, Stella Wingfield.
And I'm Laura.
Today's episode is inspired by the following quote. Don't ever accept anyone else's preconceived limitations. If there's something you want to do, there isn't any reason you can't do it. Amy Dodson. To honor Women's History Month, I wanted to talk about Gertrude Benham, who was a mountaineer who traveled the world. So Gertrude's love of the mountains and climbing stemmed from a family holiday to the Alps in the summer. By her 20s, she had climbed both Mont Blanc and the Matterhorn. Fun fact, I've been to the Alps and both of those mountains are incredible. And obviously, pictures never do it justice, but you should look it up anyway. Back to Gertrude, she kind of had to stop her travels to take care of her parents, but after they both died, Gertrude began her life as an independent woman who traveled all around the damn place. She began sailing to Canada, where she climbed in the Rockies, and she collected plants. She went to Fiji and New Zealand in 1905. So yeah, just like 1905 we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So she went to Fiji and New Zealand in 1905. Gonna be lame and say goals because seriously, after Fiji and New Zealand, she spent time in Australia. Then she ventured to Japan, India, and Egypt and visited Corsica on her way back to England, which is where she was born. Gertrude then set out on another world trip in 1908, traveling east to west via Japan and California on her way down to Chile. From here, she crossed the Andes and Pampas to Buenos Aires. She crossed the Atlantic to Africa. She went by land to Zambia and Tanzania and on to Uganda and Kenya, where she climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. Again, fucking goals. I don't know if you knew this, Laura, but when I was growing up, my family was planning to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro. So now it's just like in my head that like I need to do that sometime in my life because that trip never actually happened. So yeah, back to Gertrude. After Africa, she was documented being in Kashmir, and around 1910 to 1911, she was on the passenger list of a steamer going from Tahiti to Britain via SF in 1912. And then she went back to Africa again in 1913, this time adventuring to the Niger Delta. She then walked east from here to Mozambique, passing through Cameroon, Rwanda, and Uganda, and then she returned to the Himalayas in 1914, trekking from Simla to Srinagar and Kashmir, which is nearly 500 miles, by the way, that she just walked.
Dang.
Yeah. Throughout her travels, Benham sketched and collected plants, which I just think that's pretty cool. She also sold her knitting and embroidery. So she was a crafter as well as a traveler and trekker, and she brought ethnological artifacts. Oh, she bought them, actually, not brought them. During the First World War, she was in England, where she was elected to the Royal Geographical Society in 1960 and made connections with the Natural History Museum. She resigned, though, after only 6 months due to an argument over its refusal to publish a paper she had written on African volcanoes. So I just love this, too, that she was like, you're not going to publish my work? Bye.
Yeah.
After the war, Benham naturally started traveling again, going back to the Himalayas, where she made her way west from Nepal to Ladakh. She spent 2 months in Seychelles in 1921. Afterwards, she went back yet again to East Africa and then traveled around South Africa, went back to Australia and the South Pacific. She returned to England in 1923, but the following year, she was in India again. After a sojourn in England in 1926, she made another remarkable round-the-world journey, this time visiting Northeast Africa, Syria, and Southeast Asia before arriving in Hong Kong in February 1927. From here, she crossed the Pacific to California, explored Guatemala, Belize, the West Indies, and Trinidad, and finally disembarked at Plymouth in January 1928. In 1931, she was frustrated as she was not given permission to enter Tibet. She secretly followed a route into the region via the western border of Nepal. In 1933 to 1934, she circumnavigated the globe for the 7th time, and by this time, Benham had climbed more than 300 peaks of over 10,000 feet. She decided she would make her final journey in 1935 to Vanuatu, but the traveler in her made another journey. In 1937, she was in Sri Lanka, boarding a ship for South Africa, and then that was her final journey as she died on board off the coast of East Africa at the age of 71.
Dang.
And also, like, in the 30s, living until 71 is pretty impressive.
Especially with that high-risk lifestyle.
I know,
Sneaking
my God.
in places.
I know, I just love that she's like, I didn't have permission, I'm going to do it anyway. But yeah, so she just did all of this traveling at a time when traveling was just so much harder. When I read that she sailed to Canada, I'm just like, really puts into perspective, like, before commercial airlines were popularized.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like pretty remarkable to think that she literally traveled around the world 7 times.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so that's our Woman of the Week. So yeah, I guess we can go on to our first journal prompt, which is writing about an unpopular opinion you hold about diet culture. Do we want to take it away, or do you want my long-ass rant to take it away?
I'll start. I'm probably the easier one. Mine is, I feel like, mine's more 50-50. Like, it's cheat days. You know, there's like a good half of the culture that's just like, there shouldn't be cheat days because, like, it should just be things like that you can incorporate into your diet in general with moderation and blah, blah, blah. And they're probably not wrong, but I think cheat days are super great because, like, especially when I'm eating really clean, like when I'm doing challenges of like reducing things, I like planning for that day, being like, okay, this is what I want. It's not that they're always horrible either. It's just like, if you're really reducing your carbs, I'm gonna carb it up one day. Like,
Yeah.
And like, I've done times where I do like no sugar at all. Like, bitch, I'm gonna have one bowl of ice cream one day. I just think cheat days are how I moderate. Cause I'm like, just save it for that day. It's fine. But they're very taboo.
Yeah, but when you have that day to look forward to, though, it's just like, by the time that day comes, it's like, you know, it is your quote-unquote cheat day. But since you have incorporated healthier habits in your life anyway, it's like not even as crazy as like someone might think. Like, you're not going buck wild every single meal necessarily, but
Exactly.
you're just having what you want to have that day because it's your motherfucking day.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to eat a goddamn pizza.
Yep.
Let me have it. I just think they're good on like not using it as like, well, I had 2 good meals today, so I'll do whatever, versus like, I just save that for whatever day is my cheat day.
Yeah, and pizza is always on my cheat day.
Yes.
I have one day that I'm gonna have a couple pieces of pizza. And honestly, it's not even going out to get pizza. It's just like a frozen pizza from Costco, which I have done some research on is like one of the better like ingredient frozen pizzas you can get, if you didn't know. Costco really shows up.
I love Costco. That's a whole different problem. But yeah, I think it's cheat days. I know there's a very like mixed variations of opinions on them. And a lot of people that want to be like, you should just eat better, period. Like, okay, well, I'm a human. I'm not better 24/7.
Yeah, I think everyone needs that indulgent, at least a little bit of indulgence in their week at some point. Otherwise, then it's just like you crave things and then you're going to eat more of it. Then, you know, if you like keep trying to restrict yourself for weeks and weeks and weeks, it's like then you're going to eat the whole damn pizza instead of just a couple slices.
Exactly.
Yeah, so Was that your main thing, or did you have
Yeah.
anything else?
Wait, there are multiple things? I thought we were just picking one of our opinions.
Well, the thing is, this whole question is like, I hate everything about diet culture. I hate it. I don't know if this is unpopular other than to those who benefit financially from people buying into the bullshit of like, here's this magic pill or magic tea that's gonna make you skinny, or like all those like shake companies that's like, get on our bandwagon of this kind of shake, and it's like, when you look at those ingredients, it's not even good for you. Yeah, maybe it'll help you lose weight or whatever, but it's just like, the whole thing about diets, I don't know. I just feel like the whole diet culture led me into some very dark places, into my mind, into obsession and an unhealthy relationship with food. I was so obsessed with the whole thing growing up, like looking at thinspo, looking at fad diets and ridiculous ways to lose weight when I was younger. And I didn't even need to lose weight then, but it's like, because it existed and because it was accessible, I was in it and just like so obsessed. I was obsessed with watching other people's weight loss, seeking tips on how to lose weight via extreme measures and detoxes, and I don't know, it was all disguised as inspiration and motivation instead of what it really was for me, was just developing, like I said, an unhealthy relationship with food.
Yeah.
Myself and with other people's bodies, because I was always comparing myself to what I was seeing. I even had a vision board at one time of all these ridiculously skinny and ripped women hanging in my room. But it was always a thing of like, I still don't look like that, you know, and like being upset with myself because I didn't live up to that expectation of like, well, they can look like that, so I can look like that. But no, like, no body is the same, and my body will never look like that. I'm not these women. I'll never be those women. But I feel like those types of messages were just so like prevalent, like, oh, you can look like this too. And it's like, maybe not, and maybe that's just fucking okay, you know?
Maybe that's fine.
Yeah, and I feel like now I follow more accounts that are more like unified with body positivity, and I don't know, I feel like I was seeing all those kinds of messages. Well, I don't know, even just like, nothing tastes as good as being skinny feels. I remember that being like a quote that like stood out in my head, like, yes, I believe this, instead of messages like health at every size. And, you know, I feel like I never saw those sorts of messages back then. And maybe diet culture is changing a little bit, but I feel like that's more just like body positivity than diet culture, really.
I definitely think there are still the miracle shakes and such. I didn't even think about that because it's like, I never really went down the rabbit hole. So like, it just didn't even cross my mind. When you brought it up, I was like, oh yeah, those things are so shitty. But I just, you know, if you've never been in the rabbit hole, just...
Yeah, I was on Tumblr and all those types of things of like, and those were the only pages I was following, like really unhealthy for me kind of messages, and probably unhealthy for a lot of people. But I also never saw information about how to fuel your body properly, or like why your body needs things. Macros, hello, what your body needs the largest quantities of. I didn't know like the specific amounts that I needed. You know, I didn't like think about like, hello, your body needs carbs for energy. You shouldn't just be eliminating all fucking carbs. It's stupid. Your body needs fat for fueling your brain, absorbing nutrients, cushioning and protecting your organs, like we've talked about. Your body needs protein for everyday functioning. I feel like those messages could just like be more present. And I don't know, when we think of fad dieting, keto, it's just like...
I just was like, keto? Everyone peeing on a damn stick.
So dumb. I just like, I feel like that could be an unpopular opinion of like, keto's just stupid. You know, like you should not be eliminating all carbs from your diet. It is not okay or not normal unless it's directed for a very specific reason, such as epilepsy. I know it's supposed to help with that, but it's like, only if your doctor tells you that you should be doing that, should you be doing that. Or Atkins is just stupid. Like cutting out fruits and vegetables, certain ones anyway. Like come on. I feel like we need a variety of food. We need to get all the nutrients that our body requires for optimal functioning, a healthy, balanced lifestyle with your days where you have a little bit of what you want to, like, I don't know. I feel like everyone thinks or maybe puts out this message of like you need to be restrictive, even if it's just for a short time to get where you want to be. And like, I guess that's fine and all, but it's just not sustainable. And I feel like diet culture is just like dieting instead of eating balanced, you know? So
yeah.
And you can fuel yourself with foods that taste good. It doesn't have to be bland. It doesn't have to be gross. Just eat a variety of foods, move your body how you want to, instead of these hardcore practices that media at least has in some aspects of the diet world of like, you have to do these extreme measures to get to where you want to be. And it's like, you don't. You really don't. Like, you can do short, effective workouts too. And I feel like, I don't know, like we've talked about, even if we ate the exact same thing and all worked out the exact same way, we would all look different.
Yes.
Different things work for different people. There's no one approach that works for everyone. And I kind of feel like that's what diet culture is saying, like, follow this, this, and this, and you'll look like this. But it's like, everything works differently for different people. And yeah, I don't know. It's just no one approach works for everyone. We all have different preferences. We all have foods processed differently in different bodies. Like, I work with a girl who can have fruits and she can have sugars, but when they are combined, her body does not process it well. Like a chocolate covered strawberry or something, or like a fruit bar, or like, you know, some people are dairy intolerant. I don't know. I feel like that's another thing in the diet culture that really grinds my gears, is demonizing food. Cake is bad, salad is good. Like, no, not necessarily. Maybe someone who's in recovery from an eating disorder, a salad could be like really triggering for them. Or, you know, and like eating a slice of cake could be like finally a way for that person to feel in control and not feel guilty about it. Like, that's good for them. So
everyone is different, and diet culture likes to group them all together.
Yeah, certain things can just like cause a tailspin though. And it, like, you know, certain foods. So I really hate that food is like, can be so easily categorized as good or bad. So I really wish people would stop doing that, because food is just food. Sometimes it fuels the body. Sometimes it nourishes the soul. I think people just love to have all the answers, like keeping things really simple, like black and white. But it's just like all things in life. It's not that easy to say like, this food is good, this food is bad. Like, no. I just hate diet culture. End of the story.
Yay. I agree.
I feel like there's just so much out there that makes it all confusing too.
It really does. I feel like there's no way to know what's actually good for you.
Yeah, and like getting a food sensitivity test, you can find out like what is, you know, harder for your body to process or whatever. But it's really just about having sustainable habits that can get you to where you want to go. Instead of, you know, like if you can't be on this diet forever, like it's inevitable that you'll probably gain weight back. Like you might lose it for a little bit, but if you can't sustain it, that's why it's just like find little things that you can do to sustain how you want to live, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Our next prompt. Create a morning mantra for yourself that you could use to start each day off right. Write about what it means to you.
Okay. I'm going to start this off with, I am not really a mantra kind of gal. I did it, don't get me wrong, but I just think in general I'm not that kind of person. And that it's not that that's a bad person. I think I'm just more of like, I made a choice, I'm going to go do it. Like, you know, like I don't coax myself into things. And if I'm like coaxing myself into things, I'm like, fuck this.
You're not a person that's gonna stare in the mirror and be like, you got this today.
I can't. Like, yeah, the sticky notes on the mirror and stuff, I really do know they work for some people. I, like, can't look at my mirror anymore if there's one on it. I just am that person. And it's honestly probably to my own demise, but it's who I am. But I wrote one. And
all right, let's hear it.
yeah, I'm just gonna power through here. Today, I'm gonna be powerful, playful, and purposeful. That's it.
Ooh,
but
I like that.
It's really short. Oh, sorry. It's short, mainly just because, like I said, I'm not already that person to begin with. So it's something to just like power me up. That's all I need. But I think mainly it's like the balance of like not just being in a great mood and not just being in like a super focused mood, but like trying to enjoy the day at the same time of being like focused. Also, similar to like not being a person that uses mantras, I think I can just come off a little intense at times when I'm determined to get something done. So keeping it a little playful with that.
I love it. I think people are so serious, and
Yeah.
especially in like trying to get to their goals, which is good to be serious, but at the same time, life should be fun. So having, or like when you're training, it's like it can be so serious, but like I love to just like throw in a little twerk session in my like workout sometimes, keep it fun, keep it playful, dance around the house. I love it.
Yep, that's mine, because I probably do take myself a little too seriously, so there you go.
I mean, honestly, for so many years, I did too. I really did. Like, I would be goofy and stuff too, but just like not as balanced, I was just like, don't have time for this silly shit sometimes, and it's like, no, you should make time for that silly shit because life is too short to be too serious all the time,
Yes.
All right, so lately, my morning mantra has been, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich, I am that bitch. And I know I didn't create this mantra, but when I was trying to think of a better one, I just really couldn't. And it was just like, sometimes it can be kind of cheesy and, you don't have to create it, even though I love that you made yours. That's great. I've just been saying this and reciting this daily for weeks now. It's a Baby Tate and Flo Milli song called I Am, and it's just been my anthem. If y'all want to listen to it, highly recommend. But yeah, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich, I am that bitch. For me, it just it means basically what it says. I'm healthy, I'm doing my best to do all the healthy things, drink the water, count my macros, working out, doing all the things, going to therapy in my mind, like being healthy in all the ways that I can. I am wealthy, and I know it like repeats with I am rich. It has similar meanings, but I just like to take it as like both. I have stacks are coming, but I'm also rich in experiences, rich with friendship, rich with love, rich with family. In all of the ways, I am rich because I have everything that I really need. But also, money is coming my way as well. So I try to take it like that. I'm attracting wealth and more richness into my life. So it's kind of like a mantra, but also, trying to do the law of attraction stuff of like, stuff is coming toward me. And of course, I am that bitch. I'm that bitch who can really fucking do it. I'm capable of anything that I set my mind to. I'm independent. I'm going to make all the things happen for me. I feel like repeating this while envisioning all of my dreams is just such a positive way to start my day. And I repeat this almost, like I said, every morning. In the mirror, on my walk with Winnie, like if I'm not listening to music, it's just like what I just keep saying over and over in my head. And it's so catchy that I just like, I can't, it's sometimes not even like a conscious thing that I'm trying to say it, but it just like comes to my head so naturally when it's quiet.
You need it.
Yeah. Yep. I think especially like not on my best days is when I especially need it. Like, yes, I am that bitch. I need to remind myself I'm it. Everything's going to work out for me. Yeah. So that's it for me, and that's it for our prompts this week. Product of the week.
Pow!
This week, it's the Mud Buster, which you've seen it, right? It's basically a cylinder tube with rubber fingers on the inside that you fill with water and clean your dog's paws with. Mud Buster. It's come up a couple times recently in the past couple weeks that, living in the Pacific Northwest with rain and you want to take your dog to a park or something, but you don't necessarily want to give them a full-blown bath. It's just nice to have this little container to dip their paws into and clean them off.
Yes.
It really makes things so much easier. I have a monster of a dog. She's so big, so it's just a lifesaver. So I'll link it below. There's not too much else I can go on about it, but it's just very useful. Love it. Thank you all so much for listening. If you want to join our journal challenge, it is not too late. It's been really fun sharing with you, but it would be even more fun to journal together. So yeah, if you want to share anything about your journaling too, even if it doesn't correlate to our prompts, that is also very much encouraged. Please DM us if you want to do that, or if you have any suggestions for future episodes or want to share your story, if you want to share what you dislike about diet culture, go for it. We'd love to hear from you, what you're liking, what you're not liking, maybe what you want to hear more of. You could also call or text our business line at 971-292-5565 or email us at wellnessbudspodcast@gmail.com. We would absolutely love to hear from you and get some feedback. So if you have time to do that, we would greatly appreciate it. I am so thankful for everyone who is listening. If you like what you're hearing, please share with anyone that comes to mind, or support us via rating us on a platform that allows for such. That really would help generate more people to listen to us. So yeah, or subscribing. We also have a donate link in our show notes, or just take the time to keep listening, because that is so great too. Thank you again for being here. We will catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.